hamstring curl continuous tension. So we're going to do that with a band. Obviously got a band here attached to the floor. So this is also known as sort of a knee flexion. But basically you're going to do, attach a band to the wall here, and then we're going to attach this to the ankle. So what I want to do is I'm just going to make a little loop. So get the band like this, fold that over itself, make a little like heart, and then you now have a little loop to put your leg through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this loop a little bit bigger. I'm going to put my foot through it. I now have a nice loop, tight loop around my ankle here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay down on the floor. Now I have resistance for a hamstring curl. So what we're going to do with the hamstring curl is we're basically going to do the hardest part first, and then we're going to go down to the easiest part. So the hardest part is this full flexion. So as I pull in here, this is kind of this full flexion. I'm not going to be able to do this actively, but I want to get there just so I can feel it. And then this will be the hardest part. So what I'm going to try to do is effectively break this movement into 3 sections. So I've got this kind of top third here, then I've got the middle third there, and then the bottom third down here. As you can tell, the bottom third, I've got no resistance here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically stay in this section here for as long as I can. Going to be about probably 30 to 40 seconds. And then once I kind of can't do this movement anymore, and therefore I'm down into the middle section, I need to change the resistance, or I need to move further away so that that part I've still got resistance in. And then when I can't do that anymore, I'm then going to be down to this section, so I'm going to be all the way up here. Now the trick with this one though, the reason I love this exercise is we're not just doing a normal hamstring curl. We're going to try and hit all of our hamstring tissue. So while I'm in this hard section here, notice I've now externally rotated my shin or my knee. And then as I'm doing this, I'm going through the internal rotation. So as I'm moving my shin, I'm actually hitting different parts of the tissue. What I'm also going to do as I'm doing this is I'm going to internally rotate at the hip and externally rotate on the hip. Really trying to hit all of the hamstring tissue. So in this top harder section, what it'll look like is this. So I'm here, just nice and slow and controlled, trying to hit all that tissue. Then I'm externally rotating at my knee. It'll hit more of an outside part of my hamstring, and I'm internally rotating at my knee. Then I'm going to start playing around with different angles of my hip, still internally rotated. Now I'm externally rotated. I did this yesterday, by the way, so this already hurts. And now I'm going to internally rotate my hip, externally rotating at my knee, internally rotating at my knee. When I kind of can't keep as much flexion because I'm fatiguing, notice my knee is sort of coming out. There's a less angle on my knee. So I'm just going to come forward a bit so that this new section is hard still. Once again, now I'm going to stay in this section nice and slow and controlled through the movement. Externally rotate at the knee, internally rotate at the knee, externally rotate the hip, moving the knee around. Just trying to really fatigue all of the tissue in this sort of middle section. When I realize I can't kind of do that anymore, once again, I'm going to come out. So I'm still got tension at this range. I'm still changing through that knee angle. And then that's about as much as I'm going to go. And I'm done. Whew. So, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. So think about, you've got 3 different angles through the knee. So this will be that section once you fatigue, that middle section, then that section. You're not going to come all the way out here because you want to get the right angle. But while you're doing it, your knee is moving and your hip's moving as well. You'll probably get about programmed to sort of 60 to 90 seconds for this. And you're really going to failure on this exercise if that's what your program says. If it says 100%, it's actual failure, so you can't move. But the first couple of times you do this, go easier than you think. The next day and later that day, you're going to feel it. But you're also going to love it. Enjoy.